Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing a new category video, and this one will be on how to become a more effective multitask problem solver. I feel like I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience in this. I feel like I am a subject matter expert. It's one of the things that made me such a highly effective quartermaster logistical supply sergeant in the United States Army for 9 of 13 and a quarter years served and 3 deployments. One of the reasons why I was so good at what I did, was because I thought to myself that pretty much every question has an answer, and every problem issue or problem situation, has an answer to it. Like everything has an answer, everything can be figured out, everything can be solved. So no matter what the problem or situation is, there is an answer. There is a solution to the problem, and then if there is a question, there is an answer. The big thing is even if you figure out a answer or multiple answers, then you have to understand that whoever comes up with an answer or solution to whatever the problem or question is that you may not like it. It may actually work and it may be effective, but yet, you may not like it and you just might have to deal with it. Something along the same lines is that I've definitely learned over time, especially while being a supply sergeant in the Army, is, there will be times that you're put in very difficult situational scenarios. You'll be put in whether it be higher ranking NCOs, officers, or just unique situations, Mother Nature threw a curveball at you kind of thing. The act of God threw a curveball at you that you weren't expecting. And there will be times when doing the ethical and moral thing might actually fail you or force you to fail the mission. And so, sometimes on a rare occasion, and thank God it's very, very rare, you might have to do something that you really don't want to do, but you're kind of being forced to do, whether it be by higher authority, higher ranking, higher title and position kind of people, or it's just like a random act of God, Mother Nature, situation, and you might have to do something a bit unethical or immoral to get an actual, complete the mission and get a positive, good result out of it. I don't like going and looking for those kind of things. I prefer to do, follow the rules, laws, regulations, and policies 99% of the time. But the other 1%, you may have to, bend or break a rule, law, regulation, and policy, whether someone hired you is ordering you to, and you just couldn't figure out a way to, do a workaround, or you ran out of time, and it happens sometimes. Thank God it's rare, but still, it does happen. So you got to understand and think to yourself that when it comes to any of those kind of situations, everything, and I literally mean everything, has positives and negatives to it. And you have to understand this. Unfortunately, one thing I'm definitely seeing is, all these activists who are fighting for, say, like women's rights, more equality for women, which I'm all for. The only problem is, from what I see, not with all, but with a good portion, and I'm seeing it a lot of podcasts talking about men, women's rights, and couples, and and loyalty, and all this other kind of stuff is pretty much that women want all the positives, but they want really none of the negatives. They want to avoid and ignore and deny the negatives. And it's like you can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the dark without the light. So it's, if you want more equality with men, okay, great, that's awesome. I think that's wonderful. You want the same title, same position, same pay, and all that. but then you whine, bitch, and complain and moan and cry and and all this about all the negatives and the extra responsibilities and the extra tasks and the headaches and the stresses. You can't have the positive without the negative. If you want the higher title, higher position, higher authority, and you want the equal pay, then there's positives and negatives to everything. To me, it's like there's positives and negatives of being in the military. There's positives and negatives of being a civilian. There's positives and negatives of being in college and positives and negatives of being out of college. There's positives and negatives of being in a relationship and positives and negatives of being single. The big question is it 1% positive, 99% negative? Is it vice versa, 99% positive, 1% negative, or is it 50-50? That is the big question, because there's positives and negatives to literally every single thing. Every choice, every action, every decision, every direction, every meal, every job, everything that comes out of your mouth, dealing with people, relationships, positives and negatives of certain relationships, so no matter what you do, you have to be a really good multitask problem solver and be able to, figure out and come up with an answer or solution to just about everything. You have to understand this and have your mind wrapped around it, that no matter what you do or what you're forced to do or what position you're put in, there's going to be some positives, there's going to be some negatives, and you need to think ahead and then start coming up with also like almost thinking like three-dimensional Star Trek chess, thinking multi-dimensions. If this happens, here's the positive, here's the negative. What can you do to mitigate the negative? Or also the other thing is, can you churn negatives into positives? That's another big thing. Not only just believing that there are positives and negatives of everything, but you have to have the mindset of, so let's say it's 75% positive and 25% negative. Is there anything I can do to turn any of that 25% negative more into positive? And if you do that, then you are a true master, like Jedi master, of becoming a problem solver. So I'll give a little short example real quick, of a unique situation that happened, I believe it was the end of last September of 2022. So I went and purchased online a new type of pair of sunglasses, and these sunglasses had technology in it. It had a bit of a camera thing right here, and it had a big glass piece around the nose and all that, and they kind of looked like Oakley sunglasses a little bit, but thicker. And anyway, the lenses were also loose. It wasn't in like a solid, enclosed frame. And so, I go out and I wear the sunglasses while driving my car and stuff. And now I'm out Uber driving and all this. And I'm testing it out for a couple of days to see if I like them and everything. They cost me about $65. And, I could have multiple uses with them. I'm an Uber driver, so other than my, front and back 360 dash cam, I have an extra thing. If I'm getting a little weird or concerned, I can, flip the switch on it and, record and all that if I want to. I can use it for, going on a hike or whatever, for my recreational hike. I can use it for different things. So, but one thing I did a lot of is down in like the Hazeldale area, I would go, especially while I was in college, don't do it as much now, drive through one of the bikini baristas. And so I'm wearing this glasses. I'm not even really thinking about it, and I actually can't even use the hidden camera thing, which it wasn't really that hidden. But the recreational camera within the glasses, because all the instructions were in Chinese. I didn't even know how to, properly operate it. And then I'm also seeing that as I'm rolling down my window, the lenses were actually vibrating and like flapping in the wind. So I'm realizing that, this was garbage. That this product is not worth the money. So, but anyway, I wore it and drove through a bikini barista place for like 3 or 4 days straight. And at one point, one of the baristas, right as I'm, turning my car from, park into drive and about to pull away, She's like, "Hey, is that a camera in your glasses and all that? I don't appreciate that and all that." And I'm like, okay, it's not on or anything." And so anyway, so I pull away and all that, and then she pretty much starts a rumor. She starts telling a bunch of the other baristas. Some of them don't give a crap. I understand what kind of job they are, and sex sells, and it's common sense, and what kind of job they're in, and they're showing themselves off, and they're getting 100 to 400% tips, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like some of them don't care, and then but some of them do. And there are so that one chick who saw that I had a camera in the phone, and then there's two others. One of them was one of my favorite baristas. Great conversationalist, intelligent, mature, especially for her age. She was like 2 weeks away from turning 20. And I pull through, and she thinks that I'm wearing a completely different pair of sunglasses that doesn't have a camera in it, and she's accusing me of having a camera in it no matter what. And then I'm like, no, there's no technology. This is a normal pair of sunglasses and all that. And well, I think you wore pairs before that had them and all this other kind of stuff. I saw a little like glow thing like right here in the center and all that. And there are some sunglasses that here. Sunglasses that would have like a little dot here, lenses like pop in and out, like Oakley glasses or whatever. And so she was accusing me of something. She was making an assumption, and assumptions are nothing more than lies one tells oneself to make oneself feel righteous and better. So, and I'm like, and she didn't ask me to like verify, hey, okay, if there's no technology in it, hand it here. To verify. And even if there was, then the next question is there any kind of indicator light if there is technology in it? Some sunglasses have like headphone kind of stuff, and plugs in or whatever. It's not just a camera. There's other devices in sunglasses. And so anyway, she's like, she accuses me, but she doesn't like request to, okay, hand them here, let me look them over. And even if there was technology, which there wasn't, then, is it even on? Is there an indicator light, a red light, a green light, a blue light, whatever? Verify. It's pretty much, you're making an accusation, you're crying wolf, but yet you're not doing anything to verify it. So, that's how gossip and rumors start and all that. So anyway, she didn't ask for the glasses or whatever. I even changed out the pair, and, it's quite obvious there's nothing there in the other pair. And so she's like, this will be the last time that I am going to, serve you. If you come through and you see me, just keep driving on through. And then like, how do I know if it's you? And I'm like, do you see the car on the other side of this coffee shop? It's a so-and-so car, and if you see it, then, know that I'm not going to serve you. So you just can drive right on through or avoid, me at all costs. And she wasn't the only one. There was about 3 total baristas who started doing that. So about a week later, I thought to myself, so she's punishing me. But is she really? So this is the whole turning a negative into a positive. And so then I'm thinking, like a week later, okay, she's, by not serving me, certain baristas that I come through are not serving me. What are they actually doing? They're not actually punishing me. They're punishing themselves. They're punishing their business. They're hurting their own wallets. They're forcing me to not spend my money there and leave really good tips between 100% to 400%. And I would do that of that good of a tip if the chai tea that I would get is $7, let's say, which was the average. Then I would either put $7 tip down, or I would do up to $28 tip. So up to 400. So 100, 200, 300, 400%. Now, and then the reason why I would do that is like it depends on the barista. It depends on the hotter, sexier, skimpier, more revealing outfit, and how good the conversation was. Sometimes I would sit there, and if I'm not super busy, talk to them for 30 to 45 minutes and talk and laugh, and as long as no one, another customer wasn't behind me. And so if we had a good conversation, it was the, certain barista that I, was more interested in and really liked. I had my favorites, and they're wearing a hotter, sexier, skimpier outfit, like, nipple pasties and whatever. and string thong or whatever, then they deserve more of a higher tip. So so I did all that, and pretty much I also thought to myself, oh, hey, now that I've gone through enough times, I also know, because I have chai tea powder here in my apartment, I have a Cocoa Motion, which mixes it and heats it up. And then I used to use water, and then I learned from them that, hey, no, use milk, and then get the liquid shot stuff like cinnamon brown sugar, or toasted marshmallow, or something along that lines. Bottled things, flavored syrups they use, and you get a canned Cool Whip, and pretty much you got yourself the almost the same type of chai tea that they make there. So I can either start, I got the flavored syrups and canned Cool Whip and all that, and milk from Fred Meyer's across the street from them in Hazeldale. And then I started making my own and have a thermos and all that. So, they forced me to stop coming to them as often, depending on who is the barista. They, forced me to make my own, which saves me time, energy, money, mileage on my car and everything. There's also another bikini barista like half a block up the road, a different name of a business, and they don't have any problems with me. On top of that, their chai tea and everything's like $1 cheaper. So you're pretty much either forcing me to just avoid your business altogether. You're forcing me to go make my own chai tea, save my money, or go to a completely different bikini barista business, and so they get my business and tips, and it hurts. But the other business, the one who's now denying me, even though it's a service industry, and it's like, am I doing really anything wrong? Am I, did I put my hands on you? Did I, physically or sexually assault you? Did I damage your business or anything? No, I'm not doing anything wrong. You made an assumption, an accusation. You didn't do anything to verify it. So, what? You think you're hurting me. You're really not. So I turned the negative. It sucked for like the first week or two. Turned the negative into a positive and realized, hey, there's really no big deal. It's hurting them. It's not really hurting me. It's punishing them. It's not punishing me. So a more effective punishment, a punishment needs to make it where I feel punished. It actually has to hurt me in some way, shape, or form. But yet what they did is those baristas, they shot themselves in their own foot is what they did. Because anytime I saw them, and if it was multiple times a week, they were making like freaking $50 to $100 just from me alone in a week when I was calling through, several times a week, while being a full-time college student doing classes or out Uber driving or whatever. So now, I don't really go to that specific barista stand as much. But then another thing came to mind is that, those kind of jobs, the turnaround, employee turnaround rate is probably like anywhere from 6 months to maybe 18 months, 2 years max. So it's like, hey, you wait long enough, you avoid that specific bikini barista stand for 6 months to a year and a half on average, then within that time frame, almost every single barista that used to work there won't work there anymore. So then you can start going through again, and you'll probably be completely new baristas almost every single time. Not too many women are going to stay in that line of work. Because some of them like, oh, I'm only doing this because I have to, even though it's really good money. I know that I'm kind of selling, a sexual image and fantasy and all this, plus a drink of some kind. It's like, how many of us are really coming there for the drinks? I can make the chai tea at home by myself. We're coming there for, the view, the show, and the conversation and laughs, and maybe we learn something from each other. If you have a good long enough conversation. So once again, I'm turning the negatives into positives. So you have to understand that the more you can do that, turn a negative situation into a positive, the way better off of a problem solver you will be. Another big event happened to me close to 2 years ago. Coming this mid-August will be 2 years ago. my oldest, closest, dearest best friend from high school, female best friend, her significant other and her had a fight, and then got her significant other contacted my mom. We had a huge fight, the big blow up argument fight and all that. And I had like 102 fever that day, hadn't slept in 36 hours. I might as well have been drunk and delirious. I was, super stressed out going through stuff, dealing with problems with both of my brothers. My mom's health was getting worse. And the very next day, my 8th semester of college was starting, so I was already stressed out about that. And her significant other contacts my mom to ask a question, and then starts making tons of disrespectful accusations and harassing my mom. He's pretty much, if he wanted to ask questions and all that, I'm the man of the house. He should have hit me up, but because we don't like each other, or that he, didn't, do the honorable, respectable thing and contact the man of the house. And so anyway, it just got out of hand, blew up, everybody having a bad day. And I think he did it on purpose. He wanted to cause a big fight in order to fully, get rid of me and kick me out of all the women, his significant other, and both of his daughters' lives. Because, well, I understand them, connect with them on a more mental, emotional, intellectual level, and actually know their likes, dislikes, interests, tastes, hobbies, and I treat them right, so I'm a threat to him because I'm also male. I'm the opposite sex of her, so, and he's, always worried. I mean, she's told me before how, heck, he gets massively weirded out when I hang out with my male cousins. He gets freaked out because he thinks every guy who talks to me and hangs out with me or is around me pretty much wants to get into my pants, so he's really massively, frighteningly jealous and creepy and all that. And so, but, with the whole big blow up fight, we had close to, me and my old best friend, 14 and a half years, close to perfect friendship, with like no real issues or problems. We had one misunderstanding in September of 2012 when I was home from my Afghanistan 2-week R&R deployment. And then so there was a misunderstanding, and she ignored me and avoided me for about 7 to 10 days. And then I was back in Kandahar, Afghanistan. I was kind of trapped there with massive sandstorms, so not being able to fly out to get back to my main base in eastern Afghanistan, known as Fa Wolverine. And so I kept trying to call her with a phone card, and after about 7 to 10 days of being ignored, she finally took my call, and within 15-20 minutes, everything was fixed and fine. Everything was cleared up. The problem is she's a bit of a coward, a chicken shit, a wimp, a wuss, a pussy. She runs and hides and sticks her head in the sand when things get tough. She's a bit of a yes woman. She tells everybody what they want to hear and shows them what they want to see in order to run and hide, not cause any problems or headaches, not upset anybody, and she wants to make everybody happy and avoid conflict at all costs. So with all that, the whole blow-up fight happened, and she threw away the very next day after the blow-up fight. We talked a little bit more on Instant Messenger, and pretty much she threw away 14 and a half years close to perfect friendship, all because I was, I'm tired of, biting my tongue of everything she says about her significant other and all the bad stuff that they've been through, and what he has put her through, or vice versa as well. I used to think that all the problems were all the reasons that they have a very bad relationship dynamic. Their whole relationship's a lie, joke, and a nightmare since day one. The only good thing that's come out of their relationship is both of their daughters being born. Other than that, nothing else is good about it. And I thought it was 99% his fault, 1 or 2% her fault, because nobody's perfect. I was completely wrong. It was, it was 50-50. There were certain things that she was doing that I didn't want to open my eyes to and realize, but there's a lot of things he does that are really bad as well. And so they both are at fault. It's not just more one than the other. It's 50-50 because it takes two to tango. So once I started realizing that, and how easily she threw away 14 and a half years of close, of perfect, almost like brother-sister, step-brother, step-sister kind of relationship dynamic between us, she threw me away like I was nothing in one single day. In 24 hours, after 14 and a half years of close friendship, we were no longer friends. and she didn't even let me say a proper goodbye, like over like instant messenger video chat or something with her daughters. That because I was Uncle Chris, and didn't let us get together at a park and say goodbye. Doing it in a very honorable, respectful way. She wouldn't allow me to talk to them. She wouldn't talk to me at all. I reached out for the next 11 months through texts or Marco Polo messages, video messages, once or twice a month, and to make it reasonable. I'm not massively blowing up her phone and stalking her and all that like her significant other has done, and in a 24-hour day in 17 hours. Back in September 2012, a huge issue with him, and he blew up her phone with like 40 missed phone calls, 50 missed text messages, and 20 missed voicemails in the very end. After 17 hours had gone by, and he knew exactly where she was. She was with family. And it's like, I'll be back in 24 hours. And he went insane. He showed how much of a like creepy stalker psychopath has to have it his way or the highway kind of person he was. And then he also, right before she called and said, Chris is bringing me back home now. We're on our way, be there in like an hour. And he sent one more text and threatened suicide. And that wasn't the first time. He's probably done it 5,000 to 10,000 times over the past decade. So, so he gaslights and manipulates and controls. He's a bit of an emotional bully, and she's terrified. So, in order to avoid conflict, she threw away our relationship. They started ignoring me and avoiding me like a freaking 4-year-old, and kicked me out of hers and the girls' lives in one single day. And I was ready to sit down and start talking about, go over it, try to work it out. It's like, hey, let's clear up things. Obviously, there's some issues. Let's get it all on the same page. Let's come and have the peace talks. And it didn't happen. I kept trying to contact her to make that new connection after 11 months, left her alone. And then on the 15th month, I showed up on their doorstep to do a Hail Mary, and see if she'd be willing to sit down and talk and work things out. And I was trying to return some stuff that she had over here at my place and all this other kind of stuff, and drop off a few old gifts, birthday and Christmas gifts to the girls and everything. And she wouldn't even answer the freaking door, yet she was home. So she acted like a 4-year-old scaredy cat child and wouldn't sit down to talk. And it's like, every problem has a solution, but you also have to have open communication. And so I just got massively ignored and avoided, and she proved to me that I obviously wasn't that important to her, not as important as I thought I was. She's willing to throw away a amazing friendship in one single day because of one little blow up argument fight, because we all had a bad day. I wouldn't have done what I did if her significant other wouldn't have done what he did. He wouldn't have done what he did if she wouldn't have done what she did. It was a domino effect. It happens. Everybody has a fight every now and then. Why can't we come to after a little while, a couple days, weeks, or months, come to the like peace talks and clear everything up, answer each other's questions, and try to clear it up. So that's just something you have to understand, is that bad, horrible situations like that happen. Now, I just had to, after a little while, I had to, change my thought process and pretty much look at it as, yeah, it sucks. But then at the same time, I never really liked her significant other. Not since like, not day one, more like a year later. Once he did the like threatening of the suicide thing, he reminded me of my ex-stepfather, like a younger twin version of him, who I hate my ex-stepfather. So I knew what I was dealing with. I didn't judge him too quickly. I waited about a year, listened, watch, observe. Maybe he changes my mind. Maybe he improves. And he never really did. Of course, neither did she. So, I started thinking about more, and it was like, okay, what's the worst thing? Well, she owed me a bunch of money, over $1,800, between money she borrowed and property she borrowed, and she never returned any of it, so she stole it. Because of what happened, because she was pissed, even though one thing has nothing to do with the other. The big blow-up fight argument that ended our relationship has nothing to do with borrowing money and personal property or business deals or whatever. You should still be paying your debts. So it's like, okay, she stole from me, she threw everything away, she kicked me out of their daughters' lives, didn't even let me say a proper honorable goodbye, which, And so, and everything I said, to her significant other, whatever, I meant. I didn't lie about anything. I didn't fib about anything. And so a fellow female friend of mine, another female friend, pretty much I told the whole story to, and she was like, if you didn't lie and you have evidence proof of it and all this other stuff, and you told the truth, and then you shouldn't feel bad. This isn't really on you. You did something stupid. You made a mistake. Welcome to being human, but you didn't actually do anything wrong, and you have tons of evidence proof to prove. You could prove like 77% of what you said to be factually accurate and truthful from several different sources. So why are you feeling bad? And then when that female friend said that to me, I was like, that makes sense. I didn't think about it like that. I didn't look at it from that angle. So pretty much now I don't feel as bad about what happened. So it's like, I've known since September 2012 that if either of them didn't improve and change in some major way, shape, or form, that the blow-up fight was inevitable. And I thought to myself, oh, it would take within 10 years or less, and it took 8 years and 11 months to finally happen, whether it be just between me and him or me, him, and her. It was always going to happen. And if it did happen, and she didn't be smart enough to finally get away from him and leave him, then 98% chance that we would no longer be friends. I already knew this all the way close to 9 years before it actually happened. So so that's what another thing I'm talking about, thinking ahead, taking the situation, the listening, the watching, the observing, and understanding different scenario directions, and of what could possibly happen, the what if possibilities, to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. But I was able to, for the whole situation, after a couple months, change my mindset, and pretty much I was able to turn the negative into a positive, that it was more. So I made the whole situation, it was more positive than it was negative. I don't have to deal with him anymore. I don't have to listen to her whining, bitching, and complaining about her household and broken family and relationship dynamic. That's crap and everything anymore. Because we give her ideas and guidance and advice, she doesn't listen. It goes in one ear and out the other, and she doesn't. She does what she wants to do. She wants to run and hide and be a coward for all of eternity. Not my problem. And I was sick and tired of biting my tongue and not speaking up and all of that, being a coward, she wanted me to be a yes man like she's a yes woman. Just tell everybody what they want to hear and show them what they want to see to avoid difficulty, challenges, hardship, and conflict. That's not how you grow as a person. How does one mentally and emotionally grow as a person, evolve, become stronger mentally and emotionally? You gotta face, deal with, overcome, and conquer difficulty, challenges, hardships, obstacles, difficult people, difficult situations, all different forms and all different levels of conflict is when you start to become mentally, emotionally strong. And how often? Every freaking day. There will be certain situations that are kind of overwhelming, and so you have to look at maybe walking away, whether it be for a few minutes, few hours, few days, few weeks maybe, but at some point in time, I'd say within a 30-day period, you need to come back to the peace talks table, and you need to talk to whoever you have a problem with and work it out. That's how you become mentally and emotionally stronger over time. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Fear is meant to be faced, dealt with, overcome, and conquered. Dealing with difficulty, challenges, hardship, and obstacles. That's how you become mentally, emotionally stronger more and more over time as time passes. If you're not willing to do that, then, pretty much, what's that old saying? The strong survive, the weak either perish or you get enslaved by somebody else. This is coming from an Army war veteran. Freedom in this country has never, ever been truly free. If you want, most Americans, I would say, about 97% of them, you are born into a country that has freedom. But are you really free? From my observation, no, not really. I think a lot of you have the illusion of real freedom. And because, whether it's someone else, you've given up your voice. You've given up your choices, your power. You don't have a backbone. You don't have a spine. You don't have balls. You don't have guts. You don't have a voice. You gave it all up because of fear. And whether it's a boss at work or it's with a significant other or whatever, you gave up your freedom, your voice, your choices, your willpower, your decision making because you don't want to wake up. You don't want to grow up. You don't want to face difficulty, challenges, and hardship. You don't want to face conflict. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to problem solve. So it's, if you're not willing to stand up and fight for your rights, your voice, your freedom, your beliefs of what is right and wrong, you're not willing to give sweat, blood, tears, and sacrifice up to your living, breathing life, then you don't really deserve real, true freedom. You're going to either, eventually perish, or you're going to become someone's pretty much obedient little bitch, servant, slave, doormat. Someone else you're going to give up that power to somebody else, and they're going to take that power and use it against you and make you an obedient little, slave, their slave. You're not going to be their significant other. You're going to be their property. They're going to own your butt. So that's why I think it's very, very important, you have to fight for it. A little bit of a situation that happened in my life. Personal experience of this is that I was 15 years old in high school, sophomore in high school, and I had to stand up and after putting up with my ex-stepfather, his bullying, his abuse, his manipulation, and he was doing it to my mom, and she was just, cowering in fear, sticking her head in the sand, being scared. On top of that, the stepfather made 99% of the, gross income, made the most money and everything to pay for everything. And so my mom was afraid of, she fought him and pushed back, and where would she go, who she's going to stay with, where her and her 3 kids, including me, going to go, how is she going to afford to live and survive. It's kind of like that whole, Titanic, Rose and Cal situation. She's with him for his power, position, money to be provided for, and a good, and he takes care of the whole family. But he's a psychopath. He's a control freak. He's a grandiose narcissist. It has to be his way or the highway. He's a bully, mental, emotional, physical bully. And in some ways, she, was willing to tolerate it and put up with it because he provided. And yet, whether you have kids with a person like that or not, your family's broken, and you need to do the right thing, even though it's scary, difficult, and hard. And now, you're afraid of becoming an independent, self-sufficient, do it all your own, single parent. If you're in that kind of relationship dynamic situation, you need to grow up at some point in time. Stop acting like you're mentally, emotionally 20 to 30 years younger than your actual physical, actual age. So what does that mean? It's like if they're like 33, let's say, for example, they act like they're 3 to 13 on a daily basis, then 34, 4 to 14, 35, 5 to 15. You need to grow up. You need to face your, this is your ultimate battle, So my mom at the time was 37. I was 15. I had an older brother who was 2 years older than me. I think around this time, it was right before he turned 18. And then I had a younger brother, 3 years younger than me. So me standing up to my stepfather at one point in time, I was terrified of him he was like 6'3", 6'4". He probably weighed 320 pounds. I'm a little scrawny stick teenager. But at one point in time, he physically assaulted me at our last house together in Longview, Washington. And pretty much my hatred outweighed my fear. And so I was no longer afraid. And I'll do whatever I have to do to get rid of this son of a bitch. And so I was willing. I stood up to him. I put him in his place. I fought back. I went to a high school counselor, told her everything. And then I went, they had me talk to a sheriff's department, CPS, and then me and my younger brother got pulled out and put into foster care for me and him together for 3 weeks in one foster home. Then younger brother got to go back with my mom once she moved out of my stepdad's place, and then I went to a second foster home for about another 9 to 10 months. But pretty much I had to be the one who had to, stand up and fight against, this giant who I used to be massively afraid of. I had to, fight him for my whole family, even though I had an older brother who was 2 years older than me and a mom who was 22 years older than me. I'm 15, she's 37. I had to stand up and fight her battle for her because she didn't want to grow up and grow a backbone and a spine and a voice. She didn't want to fight for hers and her children's rights, voice, freedom, and all that. I was willing to, and I was willing to die for those rights of voice and freedom. And not only was I willing to die, I was willing to also sacrifice my entire family. I was willing to sacrifice both my brothers and my mom if it meant that we're all together and we're all getting out and being free and gaining that real freedom together. We're all getting away from him, or we're all dead. I didn't really care which. If you want real, true freedom, you have to be willing to give sweat, blood, tears, and sacrifice up to your living, breathing life. And at that point in time, I was willing to do that. And then, that's a warrior, spirit of, and then when I went to counselors, I spoke up. I didn't keep silent. I didn't act like a chicken shit coward, wimp, wuss, pussy, pathological liar, yes man, or woman. But I stood up and fought. I fought for my rights. I fought for my freedom. If you're not willing to fight for your freedom, then you don't deserve to have it. You deserve, to be either squashed or become a slave to somebody, to be controlled, manipulated, bullied, abused, and controlled. I prefer that people don't have to, go through that, but at some point in time, you have to grow up. It's cause and effect. If you know that A is horrible, then what are you doing about B? What are you doing to deal with the situation and change it and fix it? If you're just dealing with it and letting it roll off your shoulders like it's nothing, and you're taking the punches and the hits and the abuse and all that, then you kind of deserve it, So cause and effect. If your piss poor choices are allowing these things to happen, then it's obviously your fault. It's a part of your fault. So you need to be realistic with yourself, and you need to grow up, be willing to fight and deal with difficulty, hardship, obstacles. The only thing to fear is fear itself. So once you face that and you deal with it and hopefully you survive it, then you truly become like true north, really real free. The amount of freedom, the weight of the world is off your shoulders and heart, and you're off your soul. Is amazing, especially if you got yourself and your children out of there is safe and sound. And which we, because of what I did and how I handled it, went about it, we did. It took about a year of hell, but then after that, I felt the whole the whole foster care very and being in two different foster homes, it changed me. It improved me. Held my second foster home was a wonderful human being, just the very definition of crazy old cat lady, and bringing tons of pets everywhere. Had no cable, no technology, no internet. There was no smartphones at the time. She had like 5 or 6 DVDs we'd watch, freaking 10 times a week. I went from a C average student to a B plus average student. Difficulty, hardships, obstacles, you face them. It's an obstacle course, and then so it's like a challenge. And if you face that challenge and you take a breath and you think clearly, don't always be thinking and deciding with this, turn this light switch off and turn this one on, use this, and think about what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you're going about it. Here's some possible of the negativities of going this route, and how could I mitigate that? How can I make the negativities less and less, and turn more of the negatives into positives? Okay, so adaptability. Adaptability is something that's really important to be able. It's sort of a military thing. We adapt and overcome. You got to push yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically. You got to push yourself and keep dealing with these challenges and obstacles, and that's how you become stronger and stronger. And you start to gain confidence. You believe in yourself, and you start to love yourself, and you keep pushing yourself, and you just become better and better and stronger and stronger. So, stop caring so much about others' feelings, opinions of you and your actions, or also your image as well. It is true, as you get older, you stop caring about this more and more. And they also have to understand something within yourself and other people. And that is, I'm allowed to do what's best for me, even if it upsets people. We will all do things over time that throughout our lives that other people will not like, understand, or agree with. And pretty much, if they can't handle it and get over it, get past it, then tell them there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the ass on the way out. If they, have a problem that they can't, it's a problem within them. It's in their mind. It's in their heart and soul. It's not within you. So, it's like, okay, I'm sorry, or I didn't mean this, that, and the other, but if you can't let it go, that's your problem. It's a problem within you that you have to kind of deal with and kind of sort through and figure out. You shouldn't be allowing those people's problems of something you said or did that they didn't like, they didn't understand, and they didn't agree with to bother you so much. Stop allowing them to force their problems onto you. And I'm like, okay, hey, I'm sorry. I learned my lesson. Won't hopefully do it again. That's something I've learned. But then at the same time, hey, it's a problem with them, within inside them, within their mind, their heart, their soul, their beliefs, whatever. And it's like, you're not going to keep pushing on me, pressuring me, and torturing me with it. If you don't like what I did, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the ass on the way out. Have standards for yourself. Don't lower your standards just to keep some people around, because maybe not everybody's meant to stay in your life forever. So, let's see. You need to learn to take chances, ask questions, have to do trial and errors, make mistakes, and learn from all of them, from all of the mistakes. Like I said, failure is a part of life. So whether you make a mistake or you fail at something, then take a breath, take it with a grain of salt. Tell yourself how you'll never fall for something like this again. Remember it, and try to learn from your mistakes and your experiences. And that's how you also become mentally, emotionally stronger and adapt to become a multitask problem solver. Every single day, you should be asking yourself, and I've been doing this, since I started college. Once I, unexpectedly got out of the military 25 months early with an honorable discharge, VA benefits, GI Bill usage, and a 21 grand severance package back in September 2016, is I started asking myself, I started learning, hey, money comes and goes. You're going to have some good amount of money, then money is going to be tight. You're going to have ups and downs. We all do. So, but I started, having more of a positive mindset. I keep, telling myself this. And I said a lot of this to a lot of my Uber Lyft customers as well, on being a good problem solver. It's like, keep asking yourself, how can you better your life? How can you better your finances? How can you better your vehicle? How can you better your furniture? How can you better your environment? How can you better your home? How can you improve upon your financial situation? How can you put more money away into emergency savings or retirement or whatever? How can you get debt free faster? How can you just keep bettering your life in general? And you keep asking yourself that, and it's like a mantra in your head. And then when there is a will, there's a way, and that's how you get more creative. And then you find out, things like you can donate plasma and make extra money off to the side. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats kind of stuff. Even if it's like, Uber Eats, DoorDash, it's like a bicycle delivery or something. You're a courier for them or something. Using your own vehicle to deliver Amazon packages if there's a nearby warehouse. You could take part in sleep study stuff and you get paid for that. There's guys could donate sperm, women could donate eggs. There's all these other ways to make extra money off to the side as gig jobs. And even some stuff where you could do survey things, online and get paid for it as well. Great website to check out for all these different types of things, even how to better your finances and better your credit score and all that. The Penny Hoarder from as a Facebook profile. Look that up. They post articles all the time, like 20 to 50 different ways to make extra money off to the side from a full-time job. So you have to learn to, start believing in yourself, standing up for yourself, making more decisive decisions, and fighting for your rights, your voice, and your freedom. And if you have kids, not only your voice and freedom and beliefs of what is right and wrong, but for theirs as well. And stop being so scared that you think you have to, stay in an abusive relationship and an abusive household and environment. No, you do not. There are other ways out. All that kind of stuff I talked about with my going through foster care for 2 different foster homes for 10 months of my sophomore year. It made me believe in myself more. I had more confidence in everything. And by going through that and surviving it, facing it, dealing with it, overcoming it, and conquering it. And so once that happened, and then I got back with my mom, and then junior year high school, and all that. And then so about a year after I got out of foster care, went back to my under my mom's roof. I followed in my dad's footsteps and went military. I became first generation Army. My dad was fourth generation. He was Air Force from both sides of my family. So I, went through Army basic training right after junior year in high school, graduated on my 18th birthday, then went back home for like 3 days of summer vacation before senior year started, did my Army Reserves at Fort Vancouver as a supply clerk in the Army Reserves, and then graduated high school, did AIT a week after my 19th birthday, graduated, and then went back home, started doing some temp agency jobs before finding a part-time that within a couple months turned into full-time at Longview, Fred Meyer's nighttime stock clerk in the home department. And then while also doing 1 week in a month Army Reserve drills and then active duty training missions for a couple weeks during the summer. And then by the beginning of 2006, I faced my worst fear. And my old female, close, like stepsister, like best friend encouraged me, and I was dealing with my older brother, and he was a major negative reason why, and my best friend was a major positive reason why I chose to face my worst fears and give up Army Reserves and Fred Meyer's job and go full military active duty, facing my worst fear that it was like 24/7 basic training. And then that I went to Hanau, Germany for the next 2 years, in the beginning of 2006 to February 2006 to February 2008. And then I just started, gaining more experience and knowledge and confidence and building myself up, improving myself mentally, emotionally, verbally, financially, every way, shape, and form, So if you make a mess, you need to, it's your responsibility to clean it up. Something definitely my parents have taught me. That's why almost every day I have a very clean, organized, efficient home. And, so almost every single time I like 1 or 2 meals worth of dishes before I start making another meal or whatever, or the very next morning and all that, one of the first things I do dishes, and I wash them by hand. Even though I have a dishwasher, I've been here for about 3 years now, and I never have ever used it. It's still brand new. It's never been used because I wash everything by hand, because it's a form of it's kind of like shoe shining boots, and teaches you discipline and patience. And so every day, and I'm wiping down counters, I'm sweeping, I'm mopping, I'm vacuuming every other day. I do loads of laundry. I stay on top of things. You make a mess, it's your responsibility to clean it up. And I have a philosophy that a good home is a clean, organized, efficient, well-maintained, well-decorated home that represents who you are. And that's not only your home, that's also your vehicle as well. So, if you really care about all your stuff, you should be able to take good care of it. And you take good care of it, it will take good care of you, like a vehicle, furniture, technology. My laptop right here on my computer desk, I've had this thing for like 10, 12 years. It's lasted me that long because I take good care of it. So, and then this is sort of a mantra thing that stuck with me when I was younger, that my parents taught me, and it worked well for me. And it goes along with military training as well. Homework comes first, chores comes second, all other responsibilities comes third, fun comes last. And that sort of stuck with me. So it's like all my chores and everything, before I want to go do something really fun, you need to take care of all your responsibilities, clean and organize, get everything done, because the responsibility things come first before fun. and a great show to watch to learn this as well. World's Strictest Parents off of YouTube. A lot of unruly teenagers, young adults, and they send them to like a different part of the world with a family who has rules, laws, restrictions, and all this, and they don't follow it. They lose privileges, get punished, and all that. Great show to watch. So that's about all I have for this topic video, which is new. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe, make any comments, hopefully positives, and tell me what you think, all right? You guys have a good day. Take care of yourself and have a good summer, all right? And be more of a multitask problem solver and solve your own problems, deal with your own issues, and become stronger and stronger. All right, you guys have a good day. Take care. Bye.